Today, on the Relly Talks, we embark on a journey across time and belief, exploring the fascinating creation stories told in religions around the world. From the Book of Genesis to the hymns of the Vedas, from the deserts of Mesopotamia to the mountains of Japan, humanity has always tried to explain the mystery of beginnings. This isn't just about myths or legends, it's about meaning, identity, and our place in the cosmos. So, welcome. Sit back, open your imagination, and join me on this 25-minute journey as we explore creation stories across religions. Why creation stories matter. Before we dive into the details of each religion's story, let's take a moment to ask ourselves, why are creation stories so important? Think about it. In ancient times, before telescopes, satellites, or scientific theories, people still looked up at the stars, still wondered about the oceans, the mountains, and the skies. They still asked, how did all of this come into being? Creation stories became the answers. They did more than just explain the physical world. They gave people a sense of belonging. They defined humanity's relationship with the divine. They offered moral lessons about responsibility, harmony, and order. And in many cases, they shaped entire cultures and civilizations. Every creation story, whether from a major world religion or an indigenous tribe, carries within it the hopes, fears, and wisdom of the people who told it. Abrahamic religions. Let's begin with the Abrahamic faiths: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Judaism and Christianity. The Book of Genesis, found in the Hebrew Bible and the Christian Old Testament, is perhaps the most widely known creation story in the world. It begins with these famous words: "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. On the first day, God spoke light into existence, separating it from darkness. On the second day, he separated the sky from the waters. On the third day, land appeared, covered with plants and trees. On the fourth day, the sun, moon, and stars were set in place. On the fifth day, fish and birds filled the seas and skies. On the sixth day, land animals and finally humanity, male and female, were created in the image of God. On the seventh day, God rested, blessing it as holy." This story emphasizes order, intentionality, and divine purpose. Humanity is given dominion over creation, but also the responsibility to care for it. Some believers interpret this account literally, as historical fact. Others see it symbolically, as a poetic story that conveys truth in imagery. Either way, its influence has shaped religious and cultural thought for centuries. Islam. In the Quran, creation is described across multiple chapters rather than in one single narrative. Allah created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, or more precisely, 6 phases. The Quran describes the universe as having once been a singular mass, which was then parted. Interestingly, this description echoes what modern science now calls the Big Bang. Life is said to have originated from water. Humans were created from clay and dust. Adam, the first human, was given knowledge and honor. Angels were commanded to bow before him. But one being, Iblis, later known as Satan, refused out of arrogance. Islamic tradition emphasizes not just creation, but the purpose behind it. That everything was made with wisdom, and humanity was given both honor and responsibility. Ancient Near Eastern stories. Long before the Abrahamic religions, the ancient civilizations of Mesopotamia and Egypt developed their own stories of beginnings. Mesopotamia, Enuma Elish. In Babylon, the Enuma Elish told a dramatic story of cosmic battle. At the start, there was nothing but water. 2 deities, Apsu, representing fresh water, and Tiamat, representing salt water. From them came younger gods, but conflict broke out. The warrior god Marduk rose to power, defeating Tiamat in battle. He split her body in 2, half forming the sky, half becoming the earth. Humans were then created from the blood of a slain god, designed to serve the gods. This story reflects a worldview where order emerges from chaos and where humanity's role is one of service and duty. Ancient Egypt. In Egypt, different cities had different creation stories, but one common theme was the emergence of order from watery chaos. In the Heliopolitan version, the god Atum rose from the primeval waters called Nun. From himself, he created Shu, air, and Tefnut, moisture. These gave birth to Geb, earth, and Nut, sky. From them, the rest of the gods descended. Egyptian creation stories emphasize the balance between chaos and order, known as Marat. To the Egyptians, creation was not a one-time event, but something that had to be maintained constantly through harmony, ritual, and balance. Hinduism. Now let's travel east to India, where Hinduism offers not just one, but several creation stories, reflecting its deep and diverse philosophy. The cosmic egg, Hiranyagarbha. The Rigveda describes the universe beginning as a golden egg, floating in emptiness. When it split open, heaven and earth were formed. The sacrifice of Purusha. Another hymn tells of the cosmic giant Purusha. The gods sacrificed him, and from his body the world was created. His mouth became the priests, his arms the warriors, his thighs the merchants, and his feet the workers. This story symbolized the structure of society. Brahma, the creator. Later traditions speak of Brahma, who emerges from a lotus growing out of Vishnu's navel. From Brahma's actions, the universe takes form. A unique aspect of Hindu cosmology is its cyclical nature. Creation is not a one-time event, but part of endless cycles: creation, preservation, destruction, and rebirth. Time in Hindu thought stretches across unimaginable spans, millions and billions of years, showing a cosmic scale far beyond everyday human experience. Buddhism. Buddhism takes a different approach. Instead of focusing on a divine act of creation, it speaks of cycles of existence. The universe expands and contracts in vast cycles. Beings are born and reborn in different realms, depending on their karma. The Buddha himself did not emphasize ultimate beginnings. Instead, he taught about impermanence, suffering, and liberation. The question was not how the world began, but how we can escape suffering within it. In this way, Buddhism reframes creation, not as a single dramatic event, but as a continuous cycle of cause and effect. East Asian traditions. Chinese myth, Pangu and the egg. In Chinese mythology, the universe began as a shapeless chaos, like a great cosmic egg. Inside, a giant named Pangu grew for thousands of years. Finally, he broke free, separating the heavens from the earth. As Pangu held them apart, his body eventually transformed. His breath became the wind, his eyes the sun and moon, his blood the rivers, and his body the mountains. Through Pangu's sacrifice, the natural world was formed. Shinto, the Japanese islands. In Shinto belief, the primordial deities Izanagi and Izanami stood on the heavenly bridge and stirred the ocean with a jeweled spear. When they lifted it, drops of water fell and formed the islands of Japan. From their union, countless other kami or gods were born, including Amaterasu, the radiant sun goddess. In this way, creation was tied directly to the identity of the Japanese land and people. Indigenous traditions. Creation stories are also rich among indigenous cultures. Native American stories. The Iroquois tell of Sky Woman who fell from the heavens. Animals helped her land on the back of a turtle, which grew into the earth. The Navajo speak of emerging through different worlds below until reaching the present one. African stories. In Yoruba tradition, the god Obatala descended from the sky on a chain. With him, he carried sand in a snail shell, which he spread upon the waters to form land. Other African stories describe creation from divine breath or from a cosmic egg. These stories often emphasize humanity's close relationship with the natural world, animals, rivers, and Earth itself. Common themes. Though these stories are diverse, patterns appear again and again. Primordial waters, seen in Mesopotamia, Egypt, Hindu, and Shinto stories. Cosmic eggs, found in Hindu, Chinese, and African traditions. Creation through sacrifice. Purusha in Hinduism, Tiamat in Mesopotamia, Pangu in China, and even Norse myths with the giant Ymir. Cycles of creation, central in Hinduism and Buddhism. Divine command or word, dominant in Abrahamic religions. It's fascinating that across continents, cultures develop such similar images for describing beginnings. Conclusion. Creation stories are more than explanations, they are reflections of the human spirit. Whether it is God speaking light into existence, a cosmic giant breaking from an egg, or cycles of rebirth stretching across eternity, all these stories reveal a universal truth: that human beings, everywhere, have looked at the universe with wonder and sought to understand their place in it. Perhaps the real purpose of these stories is not to teach. Creation stories are more than explanations. They are reflections of the human spirit. Whether it is God speaking light into existence, a cosmic giant breaking from an egg, or cycles of rebirth stretching across eternity, all these stories reveal a universal truth: that human beings, everywhere, have looked at the universe with wonder and sought to understand their place in it. Perhaps the real purpose of these stories is not to tell us exactly how creation happened, but to remind us of why it matters. They teach us responsibility, harmony, and humility. They remind us that we are part of something far greater than ourselves. And maybe, just maybe, the question is not only, where do we come from? But also, what will we create together? This has been the Relai Talks. Thank you for joining me on this journey across religions and time. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thoughtful discussions on faith, culture, and history.